Hello, let's talk about some meteorites in Arizona. We do get them, so they are a threat. They have affected the geology, Behringer Crater, northern Arizona. So let's talk about all that. So there have been 167 confirmed meteorite strikes in Arizona. Most of them are very small. However, one site could have thousands of pieces. We're looking at the Behringer Crater. When it impacted, that material just obliterated and got spread out over a large area. Sometimes it's just one piece, sometimes it's thousands of pieces. The total mass of material range from just 1 gram, just one little itty bit, to 30 tons, up at the Behringer Crater. The most recent meteorite strike happened in 2018 in Glendale. More on that in just a second. So here's just a list of areas where meteorites have been found, indicating some meteorite strikes. So this is kind of a list of some of those. So you can see, they're kind of spread out. The reason you don't see more of them up here or out here is just, well, why do you think? Why do you think there's not a lot found up here or over here, over in this area? Just because there's nothing there. There's really no big cities. It's pretty wide open. Little towns and villages here and there. But for the most part, people don't live in those kind of areas. Or if they are, they're very spread out. So there's not a good congestion of population, people hiking around or doing whatever. So I'm sure there are plenty of meteorites to be found in these areas, just out in the middle of nowhere. Some of the closer ones to us over here in the Avondale area, over in the Bighorn Mountains, Hassayampa, up north, Glendale, down in Chandler, Gila Bend. So there have been some found in this area. If you ever want to find one, so I always get asked, well, where do I find them? Where can I find a meteorite? I don't know, on the ground? They just randomly hit Earth. There's no necessarily one super spot to find them other than places like Antarctica or the Sahara Desert, because again, those places are wide open. A lot of people don't go there. So if you go out in these regions where no one really is, you might find something. Well, same thing here. So I don't know, go walk around the desert, see what you can find. So in any case, the most recent one happened in Glendale in 2018. So this is truly the story, no joke. So some guy walked out in his front yard, I believe, to get the newspaper, and he looked down in his yard and he saw what he thought was poop, and he was about to. This is his quote. He was about to kick it in the street when he looked at it again and said, "I don't think that's poop." And so he picked it up, and it turned out to be a meteorite. I mean, I have some questions like, well, why are you kicking poop? You don't kick poop. Like, if there's poop in your yard, you don't kick it. You're just going to smear it all over your shoes. In any case, that's his story. So he saw this, thought it was dog poop, and was like, well, wait a minute, let me take a closer look. And upon further look, it truly is a meteorite. So you can see the black, what's called that fusion crust I'd mentioned earlier. It's kind of the burnt outside of this kind of, looks like a stony meteorite. You can see the little chondrules in there. So this looks like a chondrite meteorite. You can see, again, that fusion crust with the kind of eggshell cracks into it. Yeah, so it was on the news, and then he sold it to this guy. I don't like this guy. So this guy, I think he calls himself like Mr. Meteorite. He is not a scientist. He is nothing of that nature. He's just some, trying to not say a bad word, he's just some stupid guy that has a lot of money and just goes around and buys all these meteorites. So anyway, I don't like him. He's annoying. But in any case, again, you can see that kind of fusion crush. You can see the cracks on it. So that truly was a meteorite. So where do you find them? I don't know, in your front yard, middle of the desert, wherever it may be. So going back to Behringer Crater, also known as Meteor Crater, what's wrong with that? I think I expanded upon that a little bit earlier. Meteor Crater, meteor. What is a meteor? Where is a meteor? Does the meteor create the crater? No. So what should it be called? Meteorite crater. Every time. So in any case, it is the, quote, the world's best preserved meteorite impact site on Earth, end quote. Well, at least they got meteorite there. So when it did hit, it broke into many pieces, scattered all around. In fact, I have one of them. It's in my cabinet. It's in my cabinet back here locked under the mystery cubes. But in any case, if you're curious and ever want to see meteorites, just send me an email and I'll show you my meteorite museum. I have a handful of meteorites you can take a look at. But in any case, yeah, so that meteorite that created the Barringer crater broke up into a bunch of pieces, but the biggest piece recovered was over 1,000 pounds, and that's located at the Crater Museum itself. I'll show you that here in just a second. So this is located about 45 miles east of Flagstaff. So if you're ever up in Flagstaff and you got nothing to do, check out Meteor Crater. It is kind of expensive. It's for what it is. There's a cool little museum, and you can kind of walk out and look down into the crater. If you spend extra money, you can kind of walk along the rim, but you cannot climb down into it. It is $22 for adults, last I checked, but there are discounts for kids, seniors, military, and AAA, I found out, because I have AAA. So that's a picture of Meteor Crater. You can see the layers, the sedimentary layers here, the geology that was affected, as we talked about previously. So again, there's a couple spots you can kind of check out and look down into the crater rim. Here is some of that metamorphosed quartz material. So things due to high heat and high pressure, the rocks, these sedimentary rocks, some of them have been altered, changed to metamorphic rocks, going back to one of our previous units just to touch on what's going on there. But again, the Apollo astronauts practice in and around the crater itself, driving some of their little dune buggies and just seeing how craters worked before they went to the moon. So that's the Holsinger piece of the meteorite that created Barringer crater, sometimes affectionately known as the Canyon Diablo meteorite, as far as the large mass of it, or the Canyon Diablo asteroid. It's, only because a lot of this meteorite material was found in Canyon Diablo. It's an actual little canyon a couple miles away from the impact site, so that's where it got its name. But in any case, that is an iron meteorite. You can kind of see it. It's pretty metal. Again, over 1,000 pounds. It's not all that big. I mean, a chunk of metal. I think it's maybe about like this big. So I mean, it's big, but it's not like as big as a car or anything like that. But it still has some weight to it. So again, but 50,000 years ago, when this impact occurred, there really wasn't humans in that area at the time. Vegetation and animals, and we'll take a look at that in lab a little bit, kind of looking at this historic impact, what may have occurred there. So we'll take a look at some of that. But in any case, let's go ahead and pause there. Yeah, again, other than that impact, very, very small ones. Where can you find meteorites? Around. I find mine on eBay. That's where I find mine. They range from something this size might be $50, might be a couple $100. Just depends on the type of meteorite, where it's from, how rare it is, etc. But they can be pretty expensive. All right, in any case, let's pause there. When we come back, I believe this will be the last section. We'll talk about some of the benefits of impacts, what good they do for the Earth, and for civilization, for plants, animals, etc. So we'll talk about that, and then we should be done. See you back here in just a minute.